All right, and every time, such a time, we welcome you to discuss financial matters. How have you been doing? I hope you are doing well and your financial aspect of life is growing day by day. And welcome to our show this time. And here we are talking about financial depression. This is part 2 of what we began in last episode. And therefore, if you want to understand more about financial depression, this is the place to be. And welcome to our show this time. And as usual, I welcome your question regarding to our topic of the day. And this is our SMS number, 23814, which is toll-free. Also, WhatsApp number 0721 105 and 105. Yes, if you want to give us also comments about our show and how to improve it, we are also welcoming you to give us your comment. But for today, we are discussing what we call the financial depression. We began in the last episode, and therefore today we are digging deeper on this topic. But today we want to look at the diagnosis of the financial depression. How do you receive your healing if you are going through financial depression is what we shall be capitalizing on. And also we shall be looking at the effects of this financial depression. What are some of the effects is what we shall be handling today in our program. Once again, karibu sana. We have Pastor Sam Kamau helping us to be able to understand more about this topic. And therefore, karibu sana. My name is Paul Kagi. Mchungaji, karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
Bwana Yesu asifiwe.
Bwana Yesu asifiwe sana.
Wiki imekuwaje?
Wiki imekuwa mzuri. Nashukuru Mungu kwa wema wake na fadhili zake.
Yes.
He has been a faithful God and a great gracious God to my life.
Amen.
And together with my family and as well the ministry.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
Yes.
We thank God this morning. First is to appreciate you for giving me another chance to come and speak to the people of God. Also to appreciate the Mr. Githinji for stepping in on his behalf. Also the management, and above all to appreciate our spiritual father,
Yes.
Apostle, and our director, Apostle John William Kimani. We are so grateful for this opportunity.
All right.
Thank you.
There could be someone who is maybe watching this program for the first time.
Yes.
In terms of our topic.
Yes.
Because last episode we began the topic on the financial depression.
Yes.
And for the sake of that person, maybe before we go into looking at what I have just mentioned,
Yes.
you can give us maybe a short recap on what we did last time.
Exactly.
Right.
Thank you so much. Before I start, it's always good to have a reading scripture so that we can be able to have a word that can direct us in this show. So because today we are talking more about the financial depression, part 2, that is more of the recovery, restoration, and the healing. In other words, from the breakdown to the breakthrough. That's what we are looking today. I want to read in the book of Luke chapter 4, verse 18. Luke chapter 4, verse 18, with the words of the Lord Jesus Christ, he spoke when he was starting the ministry. And the Bible says this must be King James Version, which is very, very good. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted.
Yes.
I want to look that part. And we ask ourselves, who are these that Jesus was coming to preach to them the gospel, those who are poor? I know we can be able to interpret that word poor using the book of Matthew, where it talks about the poor in heart, because they shall be given more, or they shall be blessed. But now, what about the heartbroken? There is the cries of the people that they are heartbroken, and Jesus is saying, the Spirit of God is upon me to heal these heartbroken. And I want to reveal the heartbroken are who. It is in the book of the 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 6 to 9. Let's read 1 Timothy chapter 6 to verse 9. We see what causes the heartbreak. We might be knowing one heartbreak in aspect of the relationship, but it is beyond the relationship. Even in financial, there is a lot of the heartbreak. 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 6 to 9. This is what the Bible says. But those who desire to be rich fall into temptation, into many temptation and snares, So these are the people that they are desiring to have a wealth.
Yeah.
And to have a lot of the rich in their life. But the Bible is talking and is saying that they fall into many temptations, many snares, and into many foolish and harmful lusts, which drawn men into destruction and perdition. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of the evil, for which some have strayed from the faith into greediness and pierced themselves through many sorrows. The context is about the financial.
Yeah.
But in this regard, it is bringing people, is not leaving the people the way they were. It is bringing them to a point where, number one, they are having the temptations. Not only the temptations, there are 4 things that they will come here, and we can see the result of it. Number one is the temptations. They were looking for money, but the drive of that money or the passion of that money brings the people to many temptations.
Yes.
Anyone who is listening to me and he is doing the business, or he is waking up and he is looking for money, he should understand the first thing that you meet is many temptations. Number 2, you are going to meet a lot of the snares, a lot of the traps. And number 3, you are going to meet a lot of the many foolish. I'm going to define this word foolish because it's not as it does not mean about the stupid. But the 4th thing is about the harmful lusts. So you are on your pathway looking for the money, but there are so many bumps that they have been set before you that you fight them, and because of all these you put yourself to destruction. And not only that, you put yourself to perdition. So what is the result of all these? Is like taking a spear or an arrow and piercing your heart. And that piercing yourself with an arrow into your heart, it brings the sorrow within your heart. And that's what we are talking about, the financial depression. So this is the class of the people that Jesus came and he said, the Spirit of God, according to Isaiah chapter 61, is upon me to heal these people that they have been pierced in their heart and now they are broken.
Yeah.
You know, last time after I left, I went to visit one of my good friend who is having a principal in an international school. And he was telling me, and I explained to him what I had come to speak. And I told him I had come to speak about the financial depression. And I started explaining to him what is financial depression, how the people at one particular moment, they were doing very well in life. But all of a sudden, either the business collapses and they are dumb. And now they don't have the cars. They don't have the mortgage. They cannot be able to afford it to pay the school fees for their children in the international or in academy. And now they that push to take them to go down to the public school. It is not an easy. And then he told me, Pastor, now I think you are talking. If there is something that I've been handling in this school, it is that. That you see this seat, you are seated here. Many people come to cry here. Because all of a sudden they were doing very well. All of a sudden the COVID comes and brings them down. And now they cannot live within the same status that they were living before.
Then they find themselves in a big depression.
Depression. Because they are wondering, what are we going to do? And he was giving one case of a certain man that he had bought a Nissan, aweke matatu. And in that matatu, amenunua that time ilikuwa allowed to 2 point something.
Yes.
Alafu, ameileta kwa barabara. All of a sudden, matatu haitengenezi faida. Lakini ya akiwa inatengeneza faida. Then, all of a sudden, Mishoki, a minister came. Akaleta regulations zingine. Matatu zote zika, na yeye hajai kuwa with that experience. And now he was supposed to be paying the loan of Matatu 60,000, but the Matatu is raising 30,000. The rest of 30 ni yeye atafute.
Where?
It brought the crisis up to the family level.
It can, yeah, I can see.
Another one was there, and he was telling me of a certain lady. Amekuwa na biashara mzuri, amekuwa akiendesha Prando, and all kinds of life. And all of a sudden, shida zimeanza kutokea. Bwana ameenda. And then they are left, the marriage has been broken down. Now, and he was the main source and the pillar of the family. And all of a sudden, the lady amengangana, and then the areas of the school zimeanza kujiwekelea. Then all of a sudden, zimefika third term na hajamaliza ya first term. And now the business is collapsing and is going down completely. Anashindwa atafanya namna gani? Then one day akasema, akaenda akaitisha watoto. Akaambia principal, nimekuja kukuambia kwaheri, na akaambia matron and some few people. And then all of a sudden, akawaambia kule nitaenda, you hear in the news.
We? Ameambia mwalimu shule?
Yes, amemwambia kwaheri, nimekuja kuambia kwaheri. Lakini kule ataenda na watoto, mtasikia kwa news. Nini imempeleka mpaka hiyo kiwango? This is financial depression. And therefore we were talking about 4 things, and we were saying about the temptations. It is internal test that expose your heart to true hunger. Not all the temptations, but it is exposing your heart a lot. So remember, when you are not in the business, you are not exposed to the loans. But now you are exposed to the loans. Now you are being demanded. You are not exposed to people like debt collectors. Now you are exposed to them. Initially you are not exposed to the auctioneers.
Yeah.
But now you are exposed. Just imagine someone who has been employed and has been terminated. Maisha yake imekuwa kampangilio with a very good routine. But now amesema ataingia kwa biashara. Here he finds a supplier. And then the supplier surprise. And then he thinks of how to inject the business with some money. And then all of a sudden, he exposed himself to things that he was not exposed. And this is one of the things that we are saying. Whoever wants to become rich goes through many temptations. The second one is the snares. It is the hidden traps.
Which are many.
Which there are so many. And they are organized. These traps, they are very organized. The other one is the foolish lust. The desire of being, that desire being disconnected from the wisdom of God. And now you are chasing the lifestyles that you have not been called or you have been prepared for. So the word foolish lust is that now, the Bible talks about that. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of the wisdom. Now you stop having the fear of God. Now, the moment you stop the fear of God, you no longer have the wisdom of God. So you are now more of the foolish lust. It is what drives the people.
Yeah.
The other one is the harmful lust. That desire to actively injury, financially, emotionally, spiritually. So these are the kinds of the people that when Jesus came, he was saying, I have come to heal you. Because they have been in with the sallows. And I want to define what is the sallows that now they are going through. It is the self-inflicted suffering. Ni wewe ulijiletea. Na ulijiletea namna gani? Kuna njia ulikuwa umefuata ya utajiri. Na ukaona hapa utatajirika. But that pathway It exposed you to temptation, snares, foolish lust, and now the harmful lust. And now it inflicted the pain that you are now it is a sorrow within yourself. What are these kinds of the sorrows? For example, like debt chains that you put yourself, and now every day that you are thinking, nitalipa hii deni namna gani?
You're calling them debt chains.
You have put yourself. The Bible talks very well about it in the book of Job, that they have put some shackles in my feet. That if you know the shackles ni kengele zinawekangwa kama ng'ombe. So every direction it goes, it has that noise.
It makes some noise.
Yes. Yeah. So you put yourself to that kind of a shame. And now you are a slave because you are chasing the world, fire borrowing and manipulation. The second one is relationship strain. So this kind of another sorrow, it is where it destroys the marriages, divides the family over the money.
Yeah.
How many families today, as we speak today, the marriage was started very well, lakini wakati pesa zilikuja, the family broke.
Very many.
When they had no money, the family was a very God-fearing family, praying together in the evening. But when the money comes, Bwana anaanza kuchelewa. Sa kanisa inakuwa, wacha ni wadrop na kibiza deal fulani.
Alikuwa nenda church ameacha.
Ameacha. So it is a sorrow by itself. Now the children are divided. Anxiety and depression rooted in financial performance pressure. That now the business was doing very well. Now it's not doing very well. You enter to anxiety and depression. Disconnection from the faith. Prosperity without purpose becomes idolatry. So why now it is as a result of the sorrows. The other one is the moral, is what we are calling the moral fatigue. Now the moral fatigue is where you are not able to sustain and you are feeling like you are surviving war.
Moral fatigue.
Yes. You are not able to relate with the people.
Oh.
You are not able to meet the expectations of the society, the expectations of the community. You are not able to handle them.
Because of the plenty or lack?
Lack.
Okay.
Already now the depression, financial depression has already come. Now you have what we are calling the pierced of your heart. So now this kind of the pierced, it brings the people to what we call these pierced themselves through the many sorrows. It brings the soul to a silent anxiety. It brings you, it is where most of the people will tell you, hawapatangi usingizi. They are having a sleepless night. Usiku unakuwa mkubwa sana. Alafu the morning is the worst thing to see. Instead of waiting upon the mercies of God every morning, you are waiting. The morning becomes, you see, the sun rises. And the silent anxiety about what will happen in that day, it becomes the worst enemy to you. This is a financial depression, which Jesus came to heal. The second thing now it brings is isolation.
Yeah.
Unapata mtu, you avoid the church, you avoid the family gathering, the husband ako kwa nyumba haongei. You know, I was listening to another case. The man, the biashara ilienda chini na mambo ikaenda chini. Sasa anakuja kwa nyumba haongei na mtu. Ako tu hapo. Bibi anamjaribu njia zote.
Amekaa ngumu.
Amemwitia marafiki wake waongee na yeye. But he is not talking. Yeye akiingia tu ametulia mpaka anasikia TV na make noise. Watoto wana make noise. It brings you to an isolation.
Yeah.
Sometimes even the men, they are being judged as if they are having an affairs outside. But if you ask truly what is this man going through, it's beyond that.
Between men and women, mchungaji,
Yes.
who are the most maybe affected
Yes.
species in terms of financial depression?
You know the beauty of the ladies, they are outgoing always.
Yeah.
They speak a lot. And the ladies will always share with another lady. But you find most of the men, they go to the withdrawal and isolation. And now they have... I gave you my story.
I can remember that story last time.
I thought it was my first business and my first time to have the debts. And I lived myself as a preserved and that conservative man. Lakini wakati yanguka, one man akaniita. A very good friend of mine, alikuwa jirani yangu akaniambia, shida yako kama ni kwa sababu huongeaje. Actually, if it's not by that man, I was now going deeper and deeper. And then he started narrating to me how his business ilikuwa imeenda juu vizuri, akafanya harusi mzuri. Then after harusi, bibi akaanza kuona hapa kuna pesa mingi sana. And now he colluded with the brothers. And now, all of a sudden, I realized this man was not bearing the children. Akajua the only way, mimi nataka kutoka kwa hii doa, lakini sitatoka hivyo. One morning, because amejua the routine of the man, akabeba kila kitu na pesa zote na akaenda mafishoni. The man told me, I went to the isolation. When I came to the house, it was empty. In the business, it was empty. And mpaka ananiambia, mpaka pesa zile zote na zawadi zote za gift tulipewa za wedding, si kupata.
We, itabidi ajifungie mahali.
Akajifungia pahali. And then, nikamuuliza, and then, you know that question must be there always. And then what happened? Mi nilienda nikaomba mtu wheelbarrow. Nikaanza kuuza madizi na hiyo. That's how I laced up. But he had nothing.
Without a customer. So, and the rent without a customer. So, and the rent was around 3K. And some years ago, so 3K was a lot of money. So, the second month I felt now, I cannot wait longer for another month without a customer. And I cannot close the business. Sasa, nikaonelea sasa hiki kitu imeanza kunipatia depression, yani stress. Acha niite tu stress. Na siwezi kaa hapo kwa biashara tena. Landlord anakuja kunikelelesha. Sijui ni mambo mingi tu. So nikaamua, the best thing I can do is to go to the mountain.
Yes. But
it's not a prayer mountain. I will call it a tourist site mountain. So I went to the mountain. I looked for someone which was very isolated, a hill which was very isolated, where I could see now the city from where I was sitting. And I could sit there the whole day, thinking about, what should I do now? Do I go back home? No. Where do I get money? I don't have an idea. I stayed there. I went there for, I think, 1 week daily. I was leaving home. I was going there for every day. Nakaa kwa mlima hapo. Nakaa. Nachomeka na jua nakaa. Jioni ikifika wakati wa kwenda kulala naenda nyumbani for 1 week. But finally I found I'm not helping anything. Sitting in the mountain, I was not helping anything. I had to go back and now think, how do I come out of this? But you see the way you're saying here, most people, especially women, we go through, I know ladies go through this financial depression, but the good thing, as you are saying, they speak about it. But we men, I don't know whether it is a weakness or is our nature, we rarely speak about what we are going through. You see, at that time, I didn't speak to anybody, I didn't share to anybody, and I went through a heavy financial
you
depression.
Can just, I'm sorry for what you went through, but it was a good reason also. But you can imagine how your heart was heavy.
Very.
That this man came and took everything. And it was a partnership.
Yes.
And now you are left with a empty business. And he has gone even with the customer. How your heart was feeling like a spear going through. The pain in it.
A lot of pain.
It is a lot of the... But what drives you there? You are looking for money.
Yes.
It is the money drive
Correct.
to do that.
Correct. It was all about
How
money.
many people are we talking to today? Walikuwa na biashara mzuri, all of a sudden the tax appeared. Over taxation, wakazifunga. What are they feeling? It was all they are saving, all the years in their lives.
Yeah.
Another one, amesema this is my retirement. Ameweka kuku mingi, 2,000, 5,000, because ameambiwa ndio mzuri sana. Then the devil from nowhere, he comes through the weed. Analeta ile ugonjwa ya kibaridi. Kuku zote zinagojeka. What do you think of that person is feeling?
A lot of pain.
Is in a lot of the pain.
Yes.
But what brought is financial. Let's look another one. Ulikuwa na matatu. All of a sudden ikapata accident. Na ulikuwa na third party insurance. Unapigiwa simu. Imepata accident. And you cannot be paid. What do you think that person is going through? Another one was in a company. And the company closed. Now you are jobless. What do you think that person is going through? So there is a lot of the pain that people are going through, but they don't have anyone to speak to. So what do they enter to? They enter to the bitterness of life.
Yes.
And they feel abandoned by God. They feel they are bitter. And yesterday I was talking to a certain lady, and she was telling me, I'm so bitter with God. Nikastuka kusikia after service kuna mtu ako bitter na Mungu. Na vile nimehubiri hiyo injili. Na mpaka nimewaombea. Because the leader has been waiting. She is a graduate. But she has been waiting upon God to show up to get a job. But the job is not showing up. 1 year is gone. The second year is here. So she is having a lot of the bitterness.
And this one brings an attention
Yes.
about how maybe our young people.
Yes.
You see, when we talk about the financial depression, it's not all about those who are doing business.
Yes.
Take, for example, our young generation,
Yes.
who are, as you're saying, they are completing their studies,
Yes.
and they are hopeful.
Yes.
They have faith and they have trust. After completion,
Yes.
I'm going to land into my dream job.
Very true.
And then it turns out to be negative for now.
Yes.
No patience, nothing, but because there is no job for the last 6 months or 1 year, they land into serious financial depression.
And the Satan visit them
Yeah.
by a fraud scam that watapelekwa majuu, and they go and whatever they left after studies.
Yes.
Bereni walikuwa wameuza ng'ombe. This time wanaambiwa, we are going to pay, you pay a certain amount of money, we take you for a job abroad.
Yes.
And then you come to realize it was a scam.
Double
Who do you
tragedy.
think that young person, the kind of a depression they are going through?
And even the parents
Yes.
who are supporting the program.
Exactly. Exactly what are they feeling back at home? At least 1 million has gone. 100,000 has gone. So there is a lot of the depression in the society. And there's a financial depression. It has been caused. So I want to read in the book of Lamentation, chapter 2, verse 11 to 12. What does it say? If we can get it. Lamentation 2, 11 and 12. I don't know where. So these are sorrows that they are caused. Yes, my eyes fills with the tears. My heart is troubled. My bile is poured on the ground because of the destruction of the daughter of my people, because the children and the infants faint in the street of the city. Look at the context.
Yeah.
They say to their mothers, where is the grain and wine, as they sow like the wounded in the streets of the city, as their life is poured out in their mother's bosom. This was a family that was mourning. And they were on the street. They don't have a bread. They don't have the job. The children are asking their mother, where can we get the bread? And the mothers, they are pouring the tears. Until now, there is no more tears. They have cried, and now they are in destruction. And the writer is saying, it's like a bile within me, the pain within myself, crying for my children. So that is the same situation that we are talking about, the financial depression that people are going through.
Right.
But we thank God that we have come here, that we may be able to give the people the hope and tell them that there is the hearing after this, and that they can be able to get the hearing after this.
All right. And I believe after that recap, you have really got a foundation of where we began in our program. The topic is on financial depression. And I want to invite your comment and even question regarding to the financial depression. You can write to us here on 23813 or WhatsApp 0721 105 105. If you want to ask Mchungaji any question regarding to the topic of the day, we are opening your question here, and we can be able to sample them as we continue with our program, Financial Show. So 23813 is our SMS number, toll free, and then 0721 105 and 105. After that, Mchungaji, I think also is good also to talk about, after we have found we are going through this financial depression, it's good to give a disclaimer on how does it affect us as people. How does, what effects are there if we go through the financial depression? Then later on we can look for the diagnosis.
Very, very true. You know, last time we said that there is a white horse, white elephant in the house, and nobody wants to look at it. Everybody is looking at it. Everybody can be able to see it. And when I was meditating about it, it came back to my mind in the times of Daniel, that everybody could see the writing on the walls. That is in the book of Daniel chapter 5, that everybody could see the writings on the walls. And the king could see it. And all the guests could see it. But nobody could speak those words. And the king is trembling. He is shaking. That was the Bible says. And now the king is asking, who can be able to read? The astrologer could not read. The wise men in Babylon could not read it. Nobody could read until the wife of the king said, your father Nebuchadnezzar had a man by the name Daniel who could interpret the dreams for him. So until we come and we find a man by the name Daniel who can interpret the writings on the walls, no, let's bring it this way. The first thing that there is a problem, we agree. And what is the problem? Is financial depression, a prolonged hardship, a prolonged economic hardship, a loss of productivity, loss of emotional despair. Everybody can see the system is breaking down. Everybody can be able to see a demonic system and cycles working in your life. Everybody can be able to see you are isolated. Everybody can see you left God. Now you are on a conflict. Everybody can be able to see that now you have the bitterness of the life. But nobody is talking. But pray that God, that if you have a wife, can be able to speak. Is the only person that can be able to diagnose what you are going through. So if you don't find this person who can diagnose what you are going through, then the writing is on the wall. And what is the writing? Your kingdom is going away. Your business is going away. Your family is going away. You need Daniel, who can come now and tell you, in such a kind of a situation, when the business collapses, what do you do? Because in such a moment, you are going through what we call 3 layers of the financial, 3 layers of the financial depression. The first one, you are going through what we call emotional depression, which is hopeless. You are on a shame. You are feeling anxiety. You are on a fear. It is where you just feel you don't want to think about the money. Because emotionally, you are broken down. The second kind of the depression that you are going through, it is a systematic. Now you have entered into chronic patterns of lack. It is in systematic is where David went in Psalms chapter 23. And he could say, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He was on a systematic depression when he was writing that psalm. And if you could continue, you can realize he is speaking such a kind of words. He is saying, the Lord will take me to a green pasture and refresh my soul. Because the soul is suffering. And remember, the soul is what the Bible talks in the letters of John chapter 3 verse 1. And it talks about prosper in all things and in your soul. So the soul of David, it is in depression. There is no prosperity in it. And he is praying, God, now because I'm in a systematic depression, refresh my soul. Restore my soul, the other fashion. Even if I walk through the valley of the shadow of the death. So which is the system that he is passing? It is a system of the death. And he can be able to say, there before me, there is some enemies. But before I live to those enemies, praise God, lay a table before me. So it was a financial, it was a total depression that David was going when he was talking this psalm.
Right.
And therefore, it was a systematic. I know I'm talking to someone who is going the same. And he is counting the date of the payment of the debt, but he does the installment. But he doesn't have. And he is telling God, before I arrive there that date, do a miracle for me. The other one is the spiritual, which brings you to the identity roots. Let me ask you this question. Why in the church today, the altar call for the salvation, few people comes?
Yes.
But if you try as a pastor to pray, we want to pray for the needs. And God is going to do the miracle on them. The 3/4 of the church comes in front.
True.
What triggers? What is this that is triggering the people to move forward, to look for that miracle money? It is where we say money answers all things, but now is not answering. That is Ecclesiastes. Money is now not answering, and you are looking for a praise that you can have the access of the money.
And therefore they are under great financial depression.
Exactly. So in this regard, it brings you to the 3 kinds of the bondage. What causes these kinds of the bondage of the financial depression? Number 1, we said, and also we said last time, it is the consumptional trap. These are the causes. Consumptional trap. Income disappear before strategy is ever being applied. You don't have a budget on how to spend your money. You don't have a plan. So there is a consumptional trap. For example, you are with the children on Sunday and wameona kitu, daddy ninunulie hii, mom ninunulie hii. You know, out of you want to make your children happy, which is okay for a parent, but you find you have bought something which was not necessary. All of a sudden, you find your peers, they have come to a praise, wameanza kununua plots anywhere. You put yourself the same way, but you don't have the ability. There is a consumption.
So kuna wengine pia on the same, tunasema wanatumia pesa yao kwa mfuko.
Yes.
Kama njugu. Ziko tu kwa mfuko zimejaa. Vile unasema there's no plan, there's no budget.
Yes.
So whatever comes along the way, unaingia kwa mfuko ama kwa wallet, unatoa tu. Unanunua tu. Ukistukia after 1 week, hauna pesa.
They don't have a vision in their life.
Yeah.
Of what they are supposed to do. So because the money that you get, it is supposed to support your vision.
Yeah.
But now they don't have a vision in their life. They have never identified. So they try this, they try this. So in other words, they lack the focus.
Right.
So number 2.
Before you go to number 2,
yes,
I beg that we can sip some water which is here.
Okay.
As we take a short break. Just to remind you, if you are watching us for the first time, this is MBCI TV, and this is a financial program where we handle financial matters, but we base our talk and everything on biblical perspective. If you have any question to the pastor on what we are talking today on financial depression part 2, you can talk to us. Our SMS number 23813 or WhatsApp 0721 105 105 23813 or WhatsApp 0721 105 105. We have part 1. 23814 is my SMS. Thank you, Director. 23814 is our SMS number. WhatsApp 0721 105 105. Part 1 for this program is on our YouTube. You can visit there, the Financial Depression with Pastor Sam Kamau KBN. You can be able to see in depth how we have been handling it. We are taking a short break. Don't go too far. We'll be right back.
MBCI Television, transforming lives.
At a time when our nation, the people need unity, when the noise of politics seem to rise higher than the cries of the people, when hearts are heavy and hope seems distant, we look not unto man but unto God. This June, Mount Ephraim Prayer Center, in conjunction with Eldoret Gospel Ministers, invites you to a powerful move of God to Kenya Communities Prayer Assembly. A moment to kneel, to lift our voices as one, to seek divine intervention for peace, for healing, for mercy. Kenya Communities Prayer Assembly will begin from 23rd to 27th of June 2025 from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily at Mount Ephraim Prayer Center, Ilula, Eldoret. Guest ministers, Apostle John Kemani William, Reverend Naomi Kemani, hosted by Reverend Evans Chumo and Pastor Monica Chumo. Let the altars burn again with prayer. Let the hearts of a nation be turned back to their Maker. Kenya Communities Prayer Assembly, my community, my responsibility. Remember, when a people pray, heaven responds. This is an interdenominational prayer meeting, free and open to all.
MBCI Television, transforming lives.
Yes, and welcome back to our financial program. This time, financial depression. Talk to us, 23814, WhatsApp 0721 105 and 105. Mchungaji,
yes,
we need to look at quickly on the how this financial depression affect us,
yes,
before we go to now the cure.
Exactly. And we were looking at the bondage, and I just want to mention them very briefly.
Yes.
And we said number 1 is the consumption trap, where the income disappears before strategy is ever applied. Money comes in, money goes. So you wonder what's really happening. And the other one we said is about the debt delusion.
Yes.
That's false liquidity that you have that does not belong to you. It belongs to someone else. And the other one we said is the culture constraint, the culture constraint that you want to satisfy the culture, or you have inherited the poverty mindset and you're operating with that kind of the poverty mindset, or guilty driven by generosity to satisfy the community allowed you. But having said, Speaker, this is the area that now I'll handle most of it.
Yeah.
So you allow me that I give the effects, and one of the effects is what we call the mental and emotional disorder. And last time I defined so much well the word disorder, and I said that this is something that was working very well, but now is no longer functioning very, very well. The life was flowing very well, but now is not flowing very well. And if we can read in the book of the Proverbs chapter 13 verse 12, it can help us to define these kinds of the emotional disorders that they come. Hope deferred makes the heart sick. So, but when the desire comes, it is a tree of life. So whenever that hope is deferred, is delayed, it makes the heart sick. But part two is what we like most of the time, that when the desire that you have gone to work for and to achieve the money, it comes to the fulfillment, it becomes the tree of life. But if it's deferred, makes the heart sick. Yeah. So how does it make the heart sick? It is what we call the anxiety and panic in life. These are the effects. It is the constant fear of the bills and the debt and the lack. So another is what we call, it brings to what we call low self-worth. You feel low self-worth. So these people, they don't have the esteem of themselves, feeling like a failure due to lack of the wealth. And you feel you are not equally qualified to a certain level of the people. Even in a group of the people, even in a family level, you feel you are not worthy. Yeah. Because you don't have. It's where you find the people, they have the shoes, but most of the time wanaziwekanga hivi. So if you find the person pushing the shoes behind, the seat is telling you they have the low self-worth. Ama wanashida kuna kitu wanataka kufunika. Kuficha. It is telling you they have this low self-worth. It is caused by the financial depression. Number two is what we call stress-related physical illness. Another effect is stress-related physical illness. And we said number one is high blood pressure. It is related to the financial depression. Nobody is born by blood pressure. It is caused by the financial issues. And from chronic worries, you are worrying until the blood sugar is it is affected. The other one which we said is ulcer and digestive issues. The worries of the life and the tensions and the fears, they causes the system of the digestive to cause the ulcers. And the ulcers is what graduates and becomes, most of the people, they call it H. pylori and etc. And it can range to ulcers and brings the people to the death. I've seen so many people who have died out of that. But it started very easy as something that as an ulcer or digestive issues. The other one is what we call the wicked immunity. The wicked immunity of the body. So the financial depression, because of what you are going through, of finances and what you are facing before you, because there's a big giant. Actually, the best one that we could have used, we could have used the word that holding the bull by its horn. We want to confront it. Although this bull, it's so big before us. But now, when you look at this giant, Goliath like David, you are feeling, this is not mine for me to fight. So because of that fear, what you see the mountain before you, you are thinking, you are supposed to take your kid to the college, to the high school. You are not managing to pay the bills. The giant continue to become so big. So that long-term financial stress wears the body.
True.
Actually, let's read in the Proverbs chapter 17, verse 22. This is what the Bible says. A broken spirit dries the bones.
Yeah.
A broken spirit dries the bone. A cheerful heart is a good medicine because it's very rejoicing. It has the access of the money. But crushed spirit dries up the bones. So what causes that dryness? It is lack of the immunity in the body when you are faced by this financial giant which is before you. And it is our stress-related physical illness. The other one, number 3, is what we call spiritual and relational struggles. Spiritual and relational struggles. Marital conflict. I know this one, I'm going to say it when I'm reading. I'm saying number 4. Marital conflict. Money fight at breaks home. Faith fatigue. Doubting God's provision. These are all the effects. You are doubting kama Mungu bado atakuja.
Kama mwenye anasema eti mwenye mlikukuta akakwambia
akuna bitterness
na Mungu.
Na Mungu. Because I've given the sacrifice and no miracle. I've gone to the mountain. God is not coming. I've prayed all kinds of the prayers. God is not appearing. You are praying like Elijah 7 times. And God is not appearing. And when he appears, he's like with a small, a sign like a palm of the hand. So the other one is mammon bondage. Driven. Now you can enter to the mammon bondage, driven by fear and not faith. Let's read in the book of Matthew chapter 6 verse 24. It says that you cannot serve God and mammon. So now you leave God and waiting upon God. Remember what I said. No one can serve 2 masters. Either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. The other verse is where Jesus had taken the coin and he had said, if you whose owner of this coin or the image of this coin, is it for the Caesars? Give to the Caesars what belongs to the Caesars. And therefore you find they go to serve the Caesars and they leave God. So what drives or makes the wealth by faith? You leave it, now you serve God, not serving God, you serve the money using the mammon ideology. So, and that is more about the spiritual. Number 4, it is what we are calling marital and relationship breakdown disorders. Marital and relationship breakdown disorder. This is where most of the money has taken the people. Amos chapter 3 verse 3. What does the Bible says? Can 2 walk together unless they agree? That's what I want to look at it. Amos chapter 3 verse 3. I know they want to project for us. Can 2 walk? Yes. Do 2 walk together unless they have agreed to do so? So that agreement of walking together does is just on verse 3. Number 1, it is the domestic conflict. Financial depression will always bring domestic conflicts and verbal abuse. Now, because there is no money, money fights leads to the emotional trauma. And now they are already in the trauma. So now it brings, they are not able to agree. They cannot be able to develop the same agenda.
And somebody said that financial depression or stress is the major causes of many family conflict.
Exactly. Because they cannot agree anymore.
Right.
Because now it is where that the person I was telling you alikuwa amenunua matatu. It lets even the wife kutoroka na watoto. Because the man is always on the matatu. Aliacha kazi, sasa ako kwa matatu. Hii matatu finally aliuza kwa hasara. 300,000 out of 2 point. because aliona imemharibia jamii, hana familia, hana anything. Madeni ndio hii. Domestic conflict and verbal abuse. A lot of the insult. Ni wewe ulifanya hivi. And you know, it all is all about the financial depression. The other one, which is very, very interesting, is sexual dysfunction in marriage. Because of that kind of depression and overburden, it brings the emotional pressure effects of libido and connections. So the couples, they don't have that emotional connection anymore. Feelings of inadequacy and lack of the intimacy. These are the effects which they are hidden and nobody wants to speak to them. Remember, we can see the words in the word, but nobody wants to talk about them. So let's help you to talk about them now.
True.
Because we are the pastor.
Yeah.
So the other one is child neglect. Watoto wanafika pahali, they are now neglected. Who is going to take care of them? Because of the economic stress, limit parental presence, poor parenting patterns. The children, when now they have separated, watoto hawajui wakae na baba yao ama na mama yao. Both of them wanafutiana, watoto. So, and these children, their parenting is an issue. You know, sometimes when I think about the financial, most of the people, they always think you tell them about the financial strategy on how to make the money.
Yeah.
But they don't think the effect of the opposite of it.
It's too huge.
It's too huge. It can take you to the grave if it's not managed.
Yeah.
So if the children inherit financial anxiety and shame, let's pause here for a minute and we ask ourselves this question. The husband runs away, and then all of a sudden, by doing 1, 2, 3 strategy, he raises up, and now he gets another wife. And now he has the children. And now they have the children. It comes to the point of the inheritance. What do you think it will happen?
It will be chaotic.
What caused, if you ask the root cause of it, it was a financial depression of the fall of a business somewhere that broke the first marriage.
Again, you can add even more salt in a wood.
Yes.
By having now the previous children, you're
Yes.
taking care of them because they are your children.
Yes.
And then you have now new children,
Yes.
other children with a new wife.
Yes.
So you are adding more burden, more
burden.
financial stress to your life.
And his lack of the financial depression management, it lacked. But if there was someone who managed your financial depression that you are going through, you could not have found yourself where you are. So most of the people, I believe they should join a class of the life coaching.
Yeah.
So that will help them to manage the situation that they are going through. Because it's manageable.
Yeah. I think, Mchungaji, because that when you have dealt with that a little bit longer,
Yes.
before we go further, it's good also to talk about the diagnosis
Yes.
of these problems.
Yes.
Now, how do we heal ourselves from these challenges?
Okay.
Because we have seen what is a financial depression.
Yes.
You have told us about the effect.
Yes.
But we cannot just stop there
Yes.
without looking for the cure
The cure.
for this challenge.
Okay. So now, as we move to that, now we are on the process of going. And the first step that the person is going through is the neglect. It's where you are feeling you are neglected. The second place that you are feeling you are on the trauma. Now you have already entered to the trauma. And the first trauma is neglected, that kind of neglect. The second one is what you are feeling you are on a shame. And the third one that is that now you are feeling you are in abuse. And now you are feeling you are on a loss. And now you have agreed that you need the healing. You need that kind of the healing in your life. And this kind of the healing that we need to bring to you is what now we want to see. Number one, we want to look at the recovery process, and we want to have 3 kinds of the things that we want to say about the recovery. And these kinds of three recovery, number one is what we call the soul hearing. Soul hearing. That is the emotion. We cannot come to the financial hearing if we have not healed the heart first. And that's why Jesus was saying that he has anointed me to heal the heart broken. The heart is connected to your wealth. And the Bible talks that the heart is like a well. Is like a well. If it's broken, it cannot sustain the water. So we need that kind of the first step for your healing is the hearing of your soul. I've met so many people that they have come to me and they after listening to me and they are telling me, Pastor, this is what I want. I have gone through. And then the first thing I tell them, I want first of all we heal your heart, because I know basically if I bring you to the hearing of your heart, I'll be able to heal your wealth. Actually, in my vision and what God called me, when he was calling me back when I was very, very young, at the age of 10 years, is when I saw a tree that was grown and I could be able to raise up and pick the leaves and bring the people, and the people could get the hearing. So this is what I was called for. And then I came to read the book of Revelation. I understand in Revelation chapter 22, verse 2, it is where it talks about bringing the hearing to the nations. Yes, it is here. In the middle of the city, in the street, and on the other side of the river was the tree of the life, which bore the 12 fruits. Each tree yield its fruit every month. The leaves of the tree for the hearings of the nations. So that tree, leaves of the trees, is the hearing of the nations. But there is the leaf that is flowing. If we can get Psalms chapter 1, verse 1, and we can be able to see it, that kind of the hearing, how it comes. It is that kind of the hears. Blessed is the man who walks, verse 2, that's the blessed man. Is like a man, yes, but he delights in the law of the Lord, and in the law of meditates day and night. And verse 3, he is like a tree, he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of the water, that brings forth its fruit in the season, whose leaves also shall not wither, and whatever he does shall never whatever he does, he shall prosper. So there is the flow of the grace, the flow of the life through the heart. So the first praise that we need to bring the hearing is the soul. And the only way to bring the hearing of the soul, it is through the grace of God.
Wow.
So that is the first strategy of the process of the recovery. Be sure that your heart is broken by so many things that we have described here. And until your heart is healed, you cannot be able to recover your wealth. I have so many scriptures to talk about, but also in the Psalms chapter 23. Let's read it again. Psalms chapter 23. This is very, very important, because this is the beginning of the hearing. If your soul can be healed, be sure the wealth can come back to you. If your heart can be healed out of so many traumas that you have gone through. Psalms chapter 23, verse 1. If, yes, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. I shall not want anything. Verse 2. He makes me lie down in a green pasture. He leads me beside the still waters. Next verse. So this person is looking. Psalms 23, verse 3. So, verse 3 is where he talks, yes. He restores my soul. So, what is the restoration? It's the restoration of the soul, the refreshment of the soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness. Now you have already regained the soul, and you have a strategy. To walk in the path of righteousness. Now in the paths of the righteous, we can be able to say the strategy number 3. Number 2. The strategy number 2 is the mindset reprogramming. The same verse where we were, verse 20, Psalms 23, verse 3. Now, the mindset reprogramming. Now, you know you come to a point where that your mind cannot be able to reboot And you cannot be able to think anything. You are feeling the guilty of the money. You are feeling bad about the money. You are having a lot of the bitterness against so many people and against the system. I don't want to say which bank. I took so many years to agree that we can work together with them. Because the way they handled me, my mindset said that these are my enemies. So even the moment I could see their logos in town or I fight them, I could see these are my worst enemy. But what was the problem? It was the mindset reprogramming. Najua tunaongelea mambo na kuna mama fulani huko kijijini alikuwa amechukua loan ya KW, alikuwa amechukua loan of a certain bank. And then wakakuja wakachukua ng'ombe yake. Na mtungia gas.
Na ng'ombe ndio inategemea kwa the living daily.
What do you think that mama is feeling about that? So until now, because that's not the end of you, he feels the mindset reprogramming is what is the next thing. So the next thing is the number 3, what we are calling systematic rebuilding.
Systematic rebuilding.
Now, resetting the structures again. Now we need to develop the new structures. Let's read Proverbs chapter 24, verse 3 and 4. Proverbs chapter 24, verse 3 and 4. Rebuilding the structures of your business, rebuilding the structures of your work, rebuilding the structures that you deserve to use. Proverbs 24, verse 3 and 4. It talks about that by the wisdom, through wisdom, a house is built, and by understanding, it is established. So next verse, by knowledge, the looms are filled with all precious and priestment riches. So how do we rebuild the system? It is by the wisdom. It is by the knowledge. It is by the understanding. So now the financial knowledge becomes very, very important. Allow me to give the strategies, the stages now.
All right.
The stages of the recovery. There are just 5 of them. And the first stage for now, which now it will shift your mental understanding. It will change you, take you from the denial to the acceptance. It will take you from the shame to the strategy. It will take you from the panic to the purpose. These are stages, they are very progressive, although you need to be patient with them. Number 1 is to acknowledge, I'm not okay. That is the first stage that you need, because whenever you agree, all my things, they are not okay, just like what you did, you agreed everything is not okay, and you went to spend the time in the mountain. It is the first stage of acknowledging, I'm not okay, and things that are not working well with my life.
Yes.
It is the first stage of the recovery and for the healing. And is very, very important. Stop pretending. You know, sometimes we tunaambiangwa, this is what my mother used to tell me, shida huwa zinafunikwa na nguo. So when you see me with a suit, it is
you think everything is all right.
You might think everything is all right, but it's not all right. So acknowledge is not right, and you accept that you need help. And that's the stage number 2, emotional process. This pain has a root. How do I heal my emotions? Do I need a counselor? Do I need a life coach? Do I need a mentor? Do I need a pastor to pray for me? Do I need to go for a night care? I cry. Or do I need to go for a retreat somewhere? I need now to come to the point of emotional processing, healing that pain that you have gone through, so that now you can be able now to start dealing with your emotions. And number 3, it is where we talk about assessment. where exactly am I now? Because now you can feel yourself.
Yeah.
Now you have a lot of the clarity that is being built around you. Now you can be able now to say, let me now do some assessment. What caused me to go down? What are the lessons that I carried? So now you are able now to come to the point that now you can start now fixing some issues that they came along you. What was the system, my business system? Where did it fail? So now you are doing the assessment. Number 4, it is where now you develop a strategic plan for the rebuilding. Developing a strategic plan for the rebuilding. Now you start realizing, I was doing this, I'll do this, but I'll use this strategy now. Already now, the experience has brought you to more maturity.
Yeah.
It is not all vain. And now you can say, a righteous man falls 7 times, but he raises up again.
Yeah.
Now in your raising up, now already you can rebuild yourself. But which strategies do I need to use? The other time I didn't have a mentor, this time I'll have a mentor. The other time I did a sole proprietor business, now I'll do a partnership business. So now there is some strategies and the structures that they are better off that we are putting on the praise he has given us. For a righteous man falls 7 times and raises up again, but the wicked shall fall by calamity. So this fall, accept it. And now you are raising up again, and you are raising more strong with the confidence, with the courage, and you believing that you can be able to do better.
And of course, we are always advised that going through a challenge is not a problem.
Yes.
The problem is, how does that challenge help me to move forward?
Does it transform you?
Yeah.
Who does it transform you to become?
That is it.
If it transforms you, you become a better person. It will accelerate your momentum to where you are going. It was the process of your journey. So you should not be bitter about it.
Yes.
But it should now bring you to a point that you can accelerate. The number 5, it is now take action plus discipline.
Yeah.
Now this time, I choose progress over comfort. The other time I failed because I did not have the action and discipline. So now have the small steps, which they are consistent. They are going to defeat emotional swings.
Yeah.
Which they have been coming and moving you up and down. Number 6, which I think is the last one, is sustainability. Develop a sustainability structure, which will prevent you to drift back again. Develop a sustainability. And this is what I would say, especially to the business people. Now, because we are building well, build also the bouncing back strategy.
Or bouncing back.
Yes. The other time you ulianguka na ukaanguka flat. Why you never builded a bouncing back. A strategy to bring you back again after you have fallen down. And in that way, now you have already builded yourself again. And now you have raised up again. And now you have defeated the financial depression. And now you have the capability to say that the Lord has restored me back. The Lord has restored the years. We can read that book in the book of Joel, Joel chapter 2, which talks about that. The years that were eaten by the locust, the Lord will restore them.
Yeah.
Yes, I hope they can get it. In the book of Joel chapter 2. I know it's in chapter 2, I don't know, verse 25. Then talks that the years that were eaten by the locust. Because there is a period of the years that when you are going through this financial depression, it was the years that the locusts walikuwa wamekufamia. and they ate everything that you have.
Yeah.
Now we have taken you through the process. Now you have the strategy to recover all those years. So you can now, with a better understanding and a better strategy, now you can be able to recover all those years were defrauded by the locusts and by the moths and by the rust and by the thieves. Now you can be able to recover them again because the Lord has restored you again. I will not survive. I will rebuild the structure to recover. Rebuild the structures to recover. My finances are not random. They are structured for the kingdom intelligence.
Wow.
That's what I'll finish. I'll finish by telling the people, develop what we call kingdom intelligence integration.
Kingdom intelligent integration.
Let your wealth be integrated with a lot of intelligence of the kingdom. In that way, you never go wrong. You walk in the pathways of the righteous. Thank you so much. I give my number.
Yes.
Yes, my number is 0722-320-660. I thank you so much for giving me this opportunity and this chance to come and speak to the people, so that I may come and help the people to come up again and to learn more again. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. I look forward to come again and now to look the family wealth hearing.
Right.
Yes.
May I thank you also for finding time to come to our program this day to talk about the financial depression.
Yes.
Today was part 2.
Yes.
The last episode was part 1.
Exactly.
And I was telling the audience, if you want to understand more about what we have been talking for the last 2 episodes, you can go to MBCI TV YouTube account. That is MBCI TV official. And you can be able to go through that program. And even today, you can look at the 2 episodes and you have an overview of what is a financial depression and how to come out of financial depression. We thank you also for finding time to watch MBCI TV at this time and even this program, financial program. My name is Paul Kagi. On behalf of the entire crew, I'm wishing you a blessed day ahead. Continue watching us.